Hello, and welcome to our first lecture series for our EIA weeks. So this week we're going to go through Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Now, within Moodle, you have your study guide, right? And that study guide covers Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. So if I were you, what I would do is I would print that out, um, read the chapter, and try and answer those a few of those questions that are in your study guide. We'll be talking about the material and we'll go over it as well, but it just gives you an idea by reading the chapter beforehand. Kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to talk about and what we're going to be addressing. Now there are exercises within those study guides. We will go through those together via a video. Okay, so in this video, or this next couple series of videos, we're going to be talking about Chapter 2, which is job order costing. Okay, specifically, we're going to see how we calculate a unit product cost. Right now, that might sound a little foreign. Unit product cost, right? Well, basically, we're making a product, whether it's a bicycle or a pair of shoes or even providing a service, right? Maybe it's a catering service that we're providing, whatever. The point is that we make something or we provide a service. We want to figure out how much does it cost us to make that product or produce that service. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through kind of an overview of job order costing and talk about exactly what do we mean when we say job order costing, right? Well, job order costing is nothing more than a costing system. Okay, if you remember last week, we talked about some of the costing systems that we'll be discussing throughout the course. Well, this is one of those. So we're going to look at job order costing, and what we need to recognize is that if we are going to use this costing system, we have to be a certain type of manufacturer or a certain type of service provider, meaning organizations that implement a job order costing system make many different products, okay, within a period, right? So we could say a period could be a year, right? Or maybe a period is a reporting cycle, right? Maybe we do it quarterly, okay? The point is we make a number of different products within that period, right? Each product is made to order. Okay, so think of a construction company who builds homes, right? Maybe instead of having cookie cutter houses, meaning we build this house, it has this layout, it has this number of rooms, and so forth. Maybe the company produces homes to the product specifications of the owners, right? So I go to, I don't know, maybe Ryan Company or Costa Construction. I say, hey, I want you guys to build me a home, but I don't want the regular house, right? I want some amenities. I want you to do something special for me. I want an indoor pool. I want to have a room, a media room that has a large projector, and I can sit there and watch movies. It kind of looks like it gives the feel that I'm in a movie theater, right? So the point is that we make a number of different products that are made to a specific customer request. Okay, now because we have a number of different jobs going on, meaning let's say I want a house built. We'll pick on Dina. She wants a house built, and we'll pick on Amanda, right? The three of us want to purchase a home, right? But we want it built to our specifications. Well, maybe Dina just wants something, so it's just maybe like a one-bedroom house, right? One-bedroom house with maybe a spa-like bathroom, okay? Maybe Amanda wants a different house. Maybe instead of having a one-bedroom, she wants maybe a three-bedroom house, and she has certain specifications that she wants in her house. And then there's me, and I'm going to go all out and say I want a mansion, right? So because we have these three different jobs, right? Each of these jobs are different products. Yes, they're homes, but they're designed to order, right? To the customer specifications. So what we need to do as managers of this construction company, we need to recognize that, okay, we have three different jobs, right? They're going on simultaneously at the same time. Each of these jobs is going to require a certain amount of direct material, a certain amount of direct labor, and a certain amount of manufacturing overhead. Okay, for example, maybe I want a brick mansion, right? Maybe Amanda wants maybe she wants a log cabin, right? Like a log cabin style home, 3 bedrooms, and maybe Dean is just like, you know what, I'm cool with siding, right? So we need to recognize that each of these three jobs is going to require different material costs. They're going to require different labor, right? Because for my mansion, I need someone that knows how to lay brick, right? Amanda needs someone that's good with log work, right? How can we cut the logs to make sure that they look nice and neat and whatnot? It's a different set of skills, right? For Dina's hanging up aluminum, I mean, I'm not sure there's much special skills going into, uh, using aluminum siding on a house, although I probably couldn't do it. But anyways, the whole idea behind job order costing is recognizing, again, we have different products that we produce each period. Those products are produced to order based on special special blueprint, and we need to be able to trace the cost that each job incurs, right? So how do we do that? Well, before we get there, we have some more examples of job order costing, right? Boeing, they make aircrafts, okay? Well, maybe different airlines need different specifications of aircrafts, right? I believe Boeing makes aircrafts for the military, right? Well, the aircrafts that that are needed for military purposes are totally different than commercial airlines, right? We have Bechtel International. I guess they're a large-scale construction company, right? They have different jobs going on. Walt Disney Studios, right? Making different movies requires a different skill set, different costs are incurred, different material, different labor. So let's look at how these costs flow. Okay, now this is the key here to job order costing, and I want you to think of job order costing sort of like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. Okay, we have all these pieces, right? Well, what are our pieces? Direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. Those are our manufacturing costs, also known as our product costs, right? We have all these pieces. We need to put them with each job that they go to, okay? So, direct material and direct labor. Those are direct costs. They are easily and conveniently traced to a job or to a specific unit of production, okay? So we have our direct material and direct labor, right? We can charge those to each job based on the amount of work each job consumes, right? Well, what the hell does that mean? Well, let's say job one is Dina's house, right? She wants just a nice little 1-bedroom house, okay? To build that house, there's certain material costs that we're going to need. There's certain direct labor costs that are going to be incurred to build that house, right? Amanda maybe has a bigger house, right? And I think Amanda wants the spa bathroom, right? So that job is going to require different direct material, right? Maybe that direct material for that job is going to cost more than job one, which would be Dina's house, right? Amanda's house, it's going to incur some direct labor, right? We're going to need a plumber in there to make sure that he can hook up all the nice spa-like bathroom things that go into there, right? And the same thing for me, right? My material for my mansion is going to incur different material costs than the other two houses, okay? Same thing with direct labor. We're going to incur different amounts of direct labor costs for my house as opposed to the other two, okay? And that's all we do. We trace each cost to each job, right? Job one incurs so much direct material, so much direct labor, not a problem, let's trace it to it, okay? Then we have our indirect costs, right? Our manufacturing overhead, which includes the indirect materials and the indirect labor, right? What we do is we allocate this, okay? Since it's indirect, we cannot easily and conveniently trace it to each job. So what we have to do then is we have to basically allocate it to each job. And we'll see how to do that, okay? The takeaway here is just recognizing or being able to understand how our manufacturing costs flow to each job, okay? So how do we keep track of all this, right? We just looked at all these pieces and arrows and kind of like a flow chart, right? Yeah, that's great for conceptually understanding how we trace costs, but how do we record that? And I know that's a very, very bad word, recording, especially coming from, the Harvard Business Review. But relax, I got you. We'll get through it, okay? So how do we record these costs, right? Well, we use what we call a job cost sheet. So me, Amanda, and Dina each have our own job cost sheets for our home, okay? And if you notice underneath the I don't know if you could see my mouse or not, but we have direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead, right? So we're going to trace all these costs to this sheet. Notice we have the job. This is job A-143, okay, whatever. It could very easily be Craig's house or Dina's house or Amanda's house, whatever, right? It shows the items that we're making here. Apparently in this example, we're making wooden cargo crates. So to make these wooden cargo crates, we're going to need a certain amount of direct material, a certain amount of direct labor, and we're going to apply a certain amount of manufacturing overhead, okay? So this is pretty much the job order cost sheet, and this is what allows us to mechanically keep track of each job and the costs that are incurred in each job, okay? So here's an example right here of how do we measure direct material costs. Super duper easy, right? In order to facilitate this, what we need is a material requisitions form. And basically what that is a nice sheet of paper that goes to the raw materials department, and it tells the raw materials manager, hey, for job A-143, they need 12 2x4s, or no, I'm sorry, they need one 2x4 12 foot, or no, yeah. Here's the description, here's the quantity, here's the unit cost. So we need 12 2x4s that are 12 feet. We need 20 1x6s that are 12 feet, okay? The unit cost, meaning the manager of the raw materials department went to, I don't know, 84 Lumber, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever that manager went, and that manager bought 2x4s and 1x6s that we as a company have in our stock, and that we can pull from that and apply that to the job, okay? Well, this manager paid $3 for 2x4s and paid $4 for 1x6s, right? So the total cost of material is $116, okay? That $116 from that materials requisition sheet flows to our job cost sheet, and we plug it into the direct materials section. We say, oh, requisition number X76890. We brought in $116 worth of material. Great. Okay. Then we got to track our direct labor. Well, we do that very easily. How do we do that? With time tickets. My favorite example is if you guys like cartoons or remember cartoons, if you remember, can't even think of the name of it. Flintstones, the Flintstones, right? Fred Flintstone jumps off the back of the dinosaur, slides down, and in the beginning credits, slides down, and he puts that paper in the tiger's mouth, and the tiger chomps down on it, right? Well, it's a prehistoric time card, right? So we use the same thing. Granted, now it's all electronic and technology driven, but we can keep track of it based on paper, right? What do we have? Well, we have an employee, I am skilled, right? This I am skilled person informs us as managers what time this person started, what time this person ended, the total hours that person worked, the rate that they get paid per hour, and and he also dictates or notates what job this person's working on. Okay, so we take that time card and guess what we do? Plug it in to the job cost sheet for direct labor. Okay, if you notice under job number A-143, this person's working on that job, so we could take this time card, go to the job cost sheet for A-143 and plug in the information. Well, this person used time ticket 36. They worked 8 hours based on 15 bucks an hour. This person made $120. So job A-143 consumed $120 of direct labor. Okay. Notice we did not get into predetermined overhead, or notice we didn't even look at manufacturing overhead yet. Okay, that's our first objective in the chapter, is to compute the predetermined overhead rate. This predetermined overhead rate allows us to apply manufacturing overhead to the jobs. Before we move on to that, I just want to quickly review job order costing and what it looks like and why we use it, or when we use it rather. Remember, to use a job order costing system, we have to make a number of different products each period. Usually those products are manufactured to order, meaning somebody comes to us and says, I want to order this and here's what I want this to look like. Okay, because of job order costing, because we have a bunch of different products that we're making to order, each job is going to require its own direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. Better way to say that is, each job consumes different amounts of our product costs: direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. Okay, we know that we have to trace these costs to each job. We know we use a job order cost sheet to get that done. We use a material requisition form in order to allocate the direct material costs to the job. We use a employee time card or a time ticket or some time system that we use, so we can trace the costs of our employees that work on specific jobs to that job that they are specifically working on. When we come back in our next video, we're going to see how we compute the predetermined overhead rate. So please tune back in for that one.